Coming up, a fly-off between two classic seabirds and a panel you won't believe.
Plus, delivering supplies to remote areas of the Navajo Nation by General Aviation Airlift. That and more up next.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haines and Alyssa Cobb.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect our daily lives. The effects are most significantly felt in poorer areas. The Navajo Nation, a Native American territory the size of West Virginia, sprawls across the Southwest.
That's right. The Navajo were devastated by the pandemic. At one point, the Navajo Nation had the highest rate of COVID-19 infections per capita in the United States. After a challenging time, the Navajo people recently got a little extra hope delivered by General Aviation. AOPA's senior features editor Julie Walker brings us the story of the Navajo Nation Airlift.
The landscape here is beautiful, yet rugged, just like the people who call it home. The Navajo people have inhabited this land for generations, but they face many hardships.
I think that the unemployment rate is running at somewhere around 48%. You know, the average income per year is like less than $9,000 a year. When you have generations of family all living within a small hogan, in many cases without running water, without heat.
Every year, General Aviation pilots from across the Southwest collect donations and fly them from their local airports to the Navajo Nation.
This is the Navajo Christmas Airlift. It's 37th year. This was started by my parents back in 1984. My dad had only been flying for a couple of years. He wanted to look for something to do that would be community service oriented, combine that with the flying activities. And my mother worked for the state of Arizona and had contacts all across Arizona. And so between the two of them, they developed an arrangement with Navajo Social Services at Window Rock. And that first year, a total of 8 aircraft participated.
This year, dozens of airplanes and pilots delivered a giant pile of supplies: clothing, blankets, gifts, toys, and other essentials. The supplies are put in plastic bags to maximize the space in the aircraft.
I believe that we exceeded 12,000 pounds this year. Looking at that pile today, which was so intimidating and awe-inspiring.
It's a clear picture of the generosity of the general aviation community.
My goodness, you know, there's just so many people in aviation with, you know, God bless them, such a great heart. And I believe it's primarily a way for the aviation community to speak up and say that they care.
Over the coming months, all the supplies will be distributed across the nation by the Southwest Indian Foundation.
People are always grateful. You know, you can see relief for a lot of families, especially around Christmas time. That's when we try to get those things out there. You know, just even on a practical level, things like, oh, we needed a coat, and here comes a coat, you know, for the kids. Those things mean a lot to people.
I consider myself a steward to the mission that my parents started. And it's really just out of, you know, that love of family and what they did, and then the love of the Navajo people that extended beyond it.
Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
Amazing. I agree with the leader of the group. God bless the pilots and all those who helped donate the supplies and get it to the Navajo Nation.
Yeah, that was great, and what a wonderful use of a general aviation airplane to bring relief to those folks. That's terrific.
That's right. Well, a special recognition for your association. The influential Washington publication, The Hill, has once again placed AOPA in the select group of top lobbyists before Congress and federal agencies. Some think lobbyist is a bad word, but as The Hill notes, quote, the ranks of policy experts, influencers, and advocates run deep in Washington, but these are the people who stand out for delivering results to their clients in the halls of Congress and the administration. Now, we call it advocacy, and our advocacy before Congress and the administration has gotten you things like basic med. And while Mark Baker is the face of AOPA advocacy, much of the heavy lifting is done by Jim Kuhn and our Washington staff.
That's right, Alyssa. And Jim himself was named a top lobbyist by the National Institute of Lobbying and Ethics last month. He joins me now here at our Washington, D.C. offices, just a few steps away from the FAA headquarters and just down the street from the Capitol. Jim? So, Jim, congratulations on you and Mark both winning some accolades for your lobbying effort on AOPA member behalf. You know, I've often heard you say that, lobbying is all about the opportunity to educate legislators about important issues for GA. Tell me about that.
That's right. There are thousands and thousands of issues that members of Congress deal with on a daily basis. There are over 10, 11,000 bills introduced each Congress. And it's important that they understand the various industries. And that's what really lobbying is, to help educate these members and to build relationships with them and build trust with them. So whether they're Republicans or Democrats, we work with everyone who the American people send to Washington. So the recognition that AOPA has received, I think, really reflects, the leadership of AOPA President Mark Baker and our 300,000 members across the country who are engaged and understand the importance of protecting our freedom to fly. I can't be more proud of our organization, and I hope our members are as well.
I'm sure they are. And you've also done a great job in building relationships through the GA caucus, which turns out it's one of the largest ones in Congress.
It certainly is. We're almost 300 members strong, which is huge. And it's very effective. And it helps us, again, educate members, get them to know and understand the importance of general aviation and what general aviation does for their communities. So it's a great caucus. It's strong. It's bipartisan, and it really helps us move our issues forward through the legislative process.
The Omicron COVID-19 variant is raising concern around the world. It surfaced in South Africa, and now there are new testing requirements coming for travelers inbound to the U.S. The CDC will require pilots and passengers to provide documentation of a negative COVID test taken within just 1 day of departure to the U.S. The current rules require a test within 3 days. Now, the CDC has also added measures to facilitate contact tracing for international arrivals. You can keep up with the latest COVID news and travel updates on our website. An Embry-Riddle study shows that the pandemic has had an alarming impact on pilot proficiency. The study shows on commercial flights there was a 50% increase in pilot errors following the shutdowns in summer 2020. The researchers say they were surprised at the level of skills deterioration over such a short duration. At one point, commercial air travel was down over 70%, so commercial pilots just didn't have a chance to fly very much. Now, most of us will be kept away from the cockpit for an extended period of time at some point in our lives. And the point here is to take an honest assessment of your skills and confidence before you get back in the cockpit. Now, AOPA has a ton of resources for Rusty Pilots. We have our online Rusty Pilots course and a webinar series called Don't Get Rusty that shares tips to keep your skills sharp.
And a milestone for ATP Flight School. Last week, we told you about what the school is doing to quickly train the next generation of airline pilots. Now they're celebrating the 10,000th graduate of the ATP certification training program at ATP Jets. Gretchen Leneski is the 10,000th graduate. The graduate program offers students the final steps needed to take their ATP written test. 7-day course has ground training along with fixed and full motion simulator training, just one of the many programs offered by ATP around the country.
Well, there's a new diesel option on the market. The Tecnam P2010 TDI just received FAA certification. The diesel Tecnam has a Continental CD170 engine. It has single lever power with FADEC, and it burns between 4.5 and 7 gallons of Jet A per hour, significantly less than the comparable avgas burning Lycoming. Now, the lower fuel burn boosts range to 1,000 nautical miles. Like the other P2010s, the TDI model includes a state-of-the-art Garmin G1000 NXI avionics package. A new P2010 will set you back about $500,000.
Well, and technology sure has changed since I started flying, that's for sure. Glass panels aid in situational awareness and provide integration and redundancy. At a High Sierra fly-in, our crews ran into a fellow from Canada with more tech than you could ever imagine being fitted into a Cessna 182. But Jim Imler says he wouldn't have it any other way.
So you've got like one of the most well-equipped panels I've ever seen. Tell me about the panel on your airplane. Well, it's a full Garmin TXI suite. It's about 2 years old, and it was a full ground-up avionics system right from the bottom. When I bought the airplane, it had all old steam gauges, and there had been no improvements to the airplane at the time, and that's the way I wanted, because I wanted to start with my own and build my own system right from the scratch.
And what all do you have?
So I've got the Garmin G500 TXI, and I've got the 750, 650 XI. It's the GFC 600 autopilot, which is a fantastic autopilot. And I have the Garmin EIS system in the engine monitoring system. And then a few other little things like the G5 standby, and I've got the Era 760 in there as well in order to give a little bit of extra backup. And if that's not enough, I keep an iPad in there as well.
Yeah, so you're redundant.
That's right, yeah. Just about anything that can go wrong, I've got some backup.
So what made you want to have all that technology in the panel?
I just got into flying about 10 years ago, but I've always been in the technology industry, and I love the integration of systems. It bugs me when you have to integrate to equipment that was built in the 30 years ago, the analog equipment, and have to interface to that. So I wanted a system that was completely integrated. That's my history in business that I've had in the past with technology, and so I just ate it all up, and that's how I came to build up this system.
Jim's panel is so spectacular that Garmin had him park his airplane at their booth at AirVenture. So, Alyssa, I thought my Bonanza was well equipped, but boy, Jim leaves me in the dust.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it.
Yep, pretty amazing.
Yeah. When we come back, a big bird lands in Antarctica.
And two seabirds duke it out. Stay with us.
Are you thinking about selling your airplane? I'm Kevin Tracy, and I own one of the largest advertising agencies north of Boston. And I'm the former VP of Marketing at Piper. I know airplanes and I know advertising. Go to twinairaviation.com to learn more about how I can help you sell your airplane.
Welcome back. You've heard of the ice runway, but what about landing a giant airliner on an ice runway? Well, it just happened in Antarctica. An Airbus A340 touched down on the frozen continent. It's a first for the big bird. The ice was grooved to help with braking, but the pilots say the reflective blue ice did cause a glare problem for them during landing. The jet carried supplies for the upscale adventure camp Wolf's Fang. Now, adventures start at, well, just $83,000.
Sounds like out of my price range. Hey, a possible glimpse into a future with flying cars. The Air 4 takes a car design and combines it with an eVTOL. The concept marks the 60th anniversary of the Renault 4, a car that's a cult classic in Europe. The Air 4 aims to show what cars could look like in 60 years. Automakers are among hundreds of companies working on eVTOL concept designs. And yet another flying car has touched down, so to speak, in the U.S. The Aeromobile is being showcased in Miami during the Art Basel Miami. The makers call it a new ultra-high-end vehicle at home on the road or in the sky. Slovakian design has flown in Europe. They say it will be commercially available in 2023.
So the Aeromobile might make a great future pilot gift, but what about something for this season? And are you concerned about not being able to find something because of the supply chain issues? Well, we've got you covered. Check out the AOPA Pilot Gear store. Everything is in stock, and next week there are daily specials. I think I'm going to go for those aviation socks. Now, there's a special offer for you, our AOPA Live viewers, 20% off on the AOPA Knit Beanie, all next week with the code AOPA Live. And you have a chance to win some free pilot gear. It's part of the December 12 Days of Flying Challenge. Whether you're flying to Grandma's house or to a warm, beachy destination this month, make sure to check in using the Pilot Passport. It's on the AOPA app, and all you have to do is go to the airport, open the app, and tap Check In. 3 people with at least 12 different check-ins will be selected as the December Challenge Prize winners. The winners will get a free Flight Gear iPad bag from Sporty's.
And finally, feathers fly in this fly-off. It's gull versus widgeon, and there's nothing foul about it. Both of these seabirds are real winners. Here's more from Dave Hirschman.
I've always wanted to do this, put them together and see the difference. It's pretty amazing.
Two friends, two unique airplanes, Italian style versus American muscle. And now, a head-to-head fly-off between two rare seabirds. The Piaggio P-136 Gull and Grumman's G-44 Widgeon.
And then it's like, okay, and then the last maneuver is that we do a drag race. And so it's like Bonanza number 3 breaks out. Bonanza becomes the finish line.
At first, you would think it would be no contest. Both seaplanes have been re-engined with Lycoming GSO 480 geared engines, swinging 3-blade Hartzell props. But the Gull is bigger, longer, more wing, and more than 800 pounds heavier at its empty weight. But water takeoffs were about the same for both aircraft. The Gull's big, thick wing and long flaps provided lots of low-speed lift to compensate for the additional weight. The Gull's approach speed is higher than the Widgeon's, but it has reversible props, so both airplanes need about the same amount of water to get stopped. The Gull and the Widgeon are close in stall speeds. The Widgeon does a little better with flaps, and the Gull is better clean. And when it came to the drag race,
the Gull is faster by maybe a knot or 2.
Both pilots love their seabirds.
I've been flying it while those other guys owned it since I was 16, and I'm 67 now, so wow. I've been around it a long time, and I've loved it, and I've had it north of the Arctic Circle, not as many times as you, but you know, it's just we've had a great grand time with it.
They're definitely adventure airplanes.
Yeah.
The other day my wife and I had a discussion about if we couldn't keep all our airplanes anymore, the Stearman, the Cub, and all those things, which would be the one that we'd keep, and we both said the Gull.
Yeah.
There. It's just a wonderful flying airplane, and hauls a load, goes to the Arctic, we go fishing and camping. And
But would they trade keys?
Tomorrow we're going to do it.
We could, either one could fly either one, that'd work.
Dave Hirschman, AOPA Live.
And you can read more about this epic challenge in the December issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine.
Well, thanks for joining us this week. We hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe.
And our email's on your screen if you want to get in touch with us that way. We'll see you next week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.